paramount ruler of Bashama Kingdom advocates for standard education in the country. National Association of Nigerian Students (NANS) threatens to shut down country's airspace over ASU strike. European Union calls for war crime tribunal as more bodies exhumed in a mass burial site in Ukraine. Good morning and welcome to Fombina News. I am Abubakar Ibrahim, and now the news in detail. The paramount ruler of Bashama Kingdom, Haman Daniel Ismail Shaga, says traditional institution has roles to play in encouraging and improving standards of education in the country. The traditional leader stated this in Numan, Adamawa State, while addressing a group of primary and secondary school students at his palace. Jawati Friday has more.
The royal father of Bashama Kingdom, Haman Daniel Ismaila, said the falling standard of education at a time that positive transformations championed by knowledge acquired in schools should be leading is unacceptable and should be reversed.
Our environment is still highly underdeveloped. The number of schools are limited. Many children are not going to school. Those who are going to school are not learning anything because there are no teachers to teach them. Some of the teachers in school are not knowledgeable themselves to teach, so the problem is complicated.
He explained that basic and foundational education at primary and secondary schools should be taken seriously, urging the pupils and students to imbibe the habit of constant reading and dedicate their entire lives to it. According to the royal father, Nigeria is still underdeveloped due to inadequate knowledge to drive its various production sectors, challenging the young minds to change the narratives through vigorous pursuits of education. An educationist, Dr. Agos Obamayi, who responded to this call by the Hamabachama, explained that the occasion was to encourage young people to develop the habit of reading, which the royal father sees as a way of raising quality citizens through education.
Education is doing badly in Nigeria today. The facilities are bad. We don't have sufficient facilities. The quality of teachers.
He emphasized that effort must be put in place by federal and state governments to revive education through declaration of state of emergency on education, adding that no nation can develop without education. Some headmasters and parents who accompanied the pupils and students during the visit said it is good that the traditional institution is adding its voice to calls by stakeholders in the education sector to have an overhaul of the entire system so as to reposition education in the country for the benefit of all. Speaking on behalf of the students, Lentapwa Simon applauded the royal father for broadening their minds in terms of what education can help them achieve for themselves and for humanity generally.
I wish to express our profound gratitude to all the organizers of these programs, especially the Amabachama, for donating books to all the students.
High points of the occasion was the presentation of books and reading session. Jawati Friday, Fombina News.
Adamawa State Government, in collaboration with the non-governmental organization West to Wealth Cyclists Limited, has reaffirmed its commitment to cleaning up the environment with a view to protecting the environment for hygiene purpose. The Permanent Secretary, Adamawa State Ministry of Environment and Natural Resource Development, Mr. Cletus Goitel, gave the indication at the sensitization and environmental sanitation to commemorate the World Cleanup Day held in Yola. Omar Aliyu completes the report.
The Permanent Secretary, Mr. Cletus Goitel, said the World Clean-Up Day is a day set aside by the United Nations in 2008 in Estonia with a view to protecting and safeguarding the environment for hygienic purpose. The Permanent Secretary also reaffirmed Adamawa State Government's commitment to reintroducing weekly sanitation exercise so as to protect the state from high rates of cholera and other diseases. diseases. He commended Adamawa West Well cyclists for its effort in safeguarding the environment, with a call on others to emulate the gesture so as to turn the West into wells for economic benefit.
At this juncture, I would like to commend and appreciate Adamawa West cyclists for their wonderful effort and partnering with the Federal Ministry of Environment as well as Adamawa State Ministry of Environment and Natural Resources Development to observe this day.
On her part, the Controller, Federal Ministry of Environment, Hajia Safiya Mohamed Abubakar, said about 191 countries globally observe the day set aside by the United Nations, urging the society to imbibe the culture of cleaning the environment so as to protect the society from flooding and other diseases.
This is a culture that I hope, wish, and urge all of us here present and those that will hear from us that we should imbibe the culture of cleanliness.
The Chief Executive Officer, Adamawa West Well Cyclists Limited, Hajia Hafsat Sali, said the reason for celebrating the day in collaboration with Adamawa State Government and the Federal Ministry of Environment is to create awareness, especially on how to save the environment, as well as enlighten the people on how to turn waste to wealth because of its economic benefit. Said Adamawa West Well Cyclists is committed to transforming waste to values for economic benefit in the state.
The reason is we are known as Adamawa West Well Cyclists. We deal with waste with a variety of plastic, carton, and other variable waste that we generate from household, commercial services, institutions. So we create value out of this waste.
She also commended the state government and its partners for coming together to save the environment. As part of activities marking the day, the team visited some areas in Jimeta such as Galadima Street, Ajay Street, and Mobi Runabout to sensitize the residents on the significance of cleaning the environment. For Fombina News, Umar Aliyu.
Thank you, Umar Aliyu. Ahead of the campaigning period, a stakeholder in Adamawa State has advised youths and the political class not to overheat the polity, but play politics according to its rules. Alhaji Babakano Jada, a prominent citizen of the state, gave the advice during an interview with Fombina News in Yola. He called on parents to discipline their children, but not to be used as elements that may cause chaos during the forthcoming election. Babakano Jada further urged traditional rulers to play an important role in propagating peace, particularly during this political period. Similarly, a youth leader in Adamawa State, Abdurrahman Musa, has also advised youths to desist from any act of violence during electioneering period. Abdurrahman Musa, who is a youth leader of People's Democratic Party, gave the advice during an interview with Fombina News in Yola. He urged them to be vanguard of peace, not chaos in the society. Vice President Yemi Oshibanjo will be representing Nigeria at a number of events today and tomorrow during the state funeral for the late Queen Elizabeth II of the United Kingdom. Oshibanjo departed Abuja yesterday to join members of the royal family, world leaders including members of the Commonwealth, head of states, governor-general, prime ministers and foreign royal families at the ceremonies, including the funeral service scheduled to be held at Westminster Abbey on Monday. Ahead of the service, Oshibanjo will be among guests and dignitaries to be received by King Charles III and the Queen Consort Camilla at a reception in Buckingham Palace today. The Vice President would as well hold a bilateral meeting with the United Kingdom Foreign Secretary James Cleverly. This news broadcast comes to you from Radio Nigeria Fombina FM 101.5 Yola. Wherever you are around the globe, you can listen to us via our mobile app FRCN Fombina FM, available on Google Play Store. We are also streaming live on www.radionigeria.gov.ng/streaming and then select Northeast from the streaming list, then click on Fombina FM. The news continues shortly. Stay with us.
Public announcement. This is to inform all state pensioners and next of kin of deceased pensioners that were captured from January to May 2013 to report at the office of the Adamawa State Pension Board, YOLA, from Monday, 19th September 2022 for verification and payment of gratuity. Pensioners are to come with the following documents: approval for payment of pension and gratuity, computation sheet, and 2 recent passport size photographs. Announcer, Permanent Secretary for Executive Chairman, State Pension Board.
Do you know that you have the right to quality broadcasting? The National Broadcasting Commission says any person, group of persons, or organization aggrieved by the content of a broadcast or the conduct of a broadcast station may lodge a complaint to the station and all right to the Director General, National Broadcasting Commission, number 20, Ibrahim Taiwo Street, Asokoro, Abuja, or send a mail via info@nbc.gov.ng. Please ensure that your complaint includes name of the broadcast station, title of the program, date and time of broadcast, and essence of the complaint. Also remember to include your name, address, telephone number, email, and append your signature. Note that your complaint must reach the NBC within 14 days of the queried broadcast. NBC, your right to quality broadcasting.
Glad to know you are still there, and now the news continues. Nigerian students under the aegis of National Association of Nigeria Students (NANS) Saturday threatened to take protest over the protracted closure of universities to airports where they vow to shut down the country's airspace. The students have already embarked on 4 massive protests on major highways across the country to register their grievances over the lingering face-off between the Academic Staff Union of Universities (ASU) and the federal government, which has led to the closure of universities for over 6 months. Addressing a world press conference in Akure yesterday, the chairman, NANS National Task Force on End ASU Strike Now, Raymond Ojo, who led other student leaders to speak with the press, stressed the need for adequate funding for education. The students flagged the federal and state governments for being insensitive to the plight of Nigerians due to ASU strike, an attendant protest by the students condemning their apathy to their predicaments. The student body appealed to the national leadership of ASU to synergize with them to achieve their objective of ensuring that a state of emergency is declared in the educational sector. The Senate will this week meet to review the 6 weeks ultimatum it gave to President Muhammadu Buhari to end insecurity or be impeached. The upper legislative chamber, billed to resume on Tuesday from the end of session recess, will sit as a whole to consider the security situation in the country since it gave the ultimatum and come up with further decisions. Chairman of the Senate Committee on Aviation, Senator Smart Adeyemi, representing Kogi West, told journalists that the move for impeachment was a collective decision of the entire Senate. The move for the impeachment of the president came on the heels of violent attacks across the country and security threats in the Federal Capital Territory. President Muhammadu Buhari and his wife Aisha will depart Abuja on Sunday, September 18, for New York in the United States to attend the 77th session of the United Nations General Assembly. Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity Femi Adesina made this known on a statement on Saturday. Buhari will take his turn to deliver the national statement on the second day of the general debates on Wednesday, September 21. Adesina said President Buhari will also hold strategic bilateral meetings with world leaders, renowned investors, and heads of multinational organizations while in New York. On the entourage of the president, who is expected back in the country on September 26, are some governors, ministers, and top government officials. And on the foreign scene, the European Union, EU, has called for a war crimes tribunal as Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said new evidence of torture has been found as more bodies are exhumed from a mass burial site in a town retaken from Russian forces. Jan Libaski, Foreign Minister of Czech Republic, which holds the EU's rotating presidency, said on Saturday that Russia's attacks against the civilian population are unthinkable and abhorrent in the 21st century. The appeal follows the discovery by Ukrainian authorities of about 450 graves outside the formerly Russian-occupied city of Izium, with some of the exhumed bodies showing signs of torture. In his address, President Zelensky confirmed that the new evidence of torture was obtained from the bodies buried there. And with the Ukrainian story, we conclude Fombina News. Before I go, another look at our top stories. Paramount ruler of Bashama Kingdom advocates for standard education in the country. Also in the news, National Association of Nigerian Student NANS threatens to shut down country's airspace over ASU strike. On the foreign scene, you heard that European Union calls for war crime tribunal as more bodies exhumed in a mass burial site in Ukraine. The news was edited by Mustafa Liman on behalf of the entire production team. My name is Abubakar Ibrahim. Thank you for listening.
Kudos to Abubakar Ibrahim with Fombina News. Listeners, join us at exactly 11 o'clock for the translation of the news in Hausa. It's 19 minutes past the hour of 9 o'clock. Stay tuned for the next program, Adamawa a makon jiya. Jinjina ga Abubakar Ibrahim da kawo mana labaran Fombina a Turance. Yanzu karfe 9 da kusan mintuna 19 ga shirinmu na gaba. Adamawa a makon jiya daga nan Fombina FM Yola tare da Jamila Adamu Zoka. A yi sauraro lafiya.
Sashen Hausa Rediyon Najeriya Fombina FM Yola mai sauraro zaka saurari shirin Adamawa a makon jiya. Shirin da ke kawo maka wasu daga cikin rahotannin da suka gudana a makon da ta gabata. Da fatan mai sauraro zai gyara zama sai in ce ayi sauraro lafiya. A makon da ta gabata a cikin rahotannin an ji cewar gwamnan jihar Adamawa Ahmadu Umar Fintiri ya bayyana gamsuwar shi da yadda aikin ginin ɗakin haihuwa da ɗakin gwaji ke tafiya a Jami'ar Hospital da ke Yola. Gwamna ya bayyana wa manema labarai haka ne a lokacin da ya kai ziyarar gani da ido a inda ake gudanar da ayyukan a ranar Talata. Gwamna ya ce gwamnatinsa ta gaji aikin ɗakin haihuwa ne ta kuma baiwa 'yan kwangilar su kammala domin al'ummar jihar ta